marching on together. We're gonna sing you in now we are so far. This out in the library of Leeds. You listen to on L.U.F.C podcast with Gary and Stu.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Disabled Team. Hope everybody's doing well, and welcome to the All In L.U.F.C podcast. I've got Gary with me. How are we doing, Gary?
I'm all right, Stuart, and I'm totally blown away by, I think, is that Lee singing, is it? And the new little intro going on there, in case you're just joining us and a little bit confused about the starting opening credit. It looks like, Stu, you've had an overhaul.
I'll be overhauled again soon. I've got some more stuff to do with it yet. That was like a preview, if you like.
A preview. Oh, that's all very good. Stu, tell us what's coming up tonight then on today's or this evening or this afternoon's podcast, depending on wherever you are, whenever you're watching.
Well, we've got 6 subjects to talk about. Well, 5 subjects, and then a closing subject, followed by any other business. But before we start, Gary, do you mind if I just address the audience a little bit, if you don't mind?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Well, so we don't go off a track. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flash up the comments like I do, and when we finish talking about that one subject, if there's any comment, any questions or comments related to that one subject, we'll talk about it after when we finish discussing. When we finish discussing point 1, point 2, point 3, point 4, point 5, and point 6. Does that make sense? Each time we do a point, we'll go to comments and then go to point 2, finish our bit on point 2, then go back to comments regarding point 2, and so on. Just that way, we're not going off tandem. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so we're not going off on a tangent. We're just trying to stick to the points that we're discussing, and then obviously, if there are issues or things that are raised in chat there, then what we can do is we can go to any other business, of course. I'll be taking the notes, of course. If anybody has anything to raise, then I'll obviously write those down, and then we'll add it in any other business a little bit later on in this podcast on today. And Stu, I think we're opening with point number 1. I think we said it was going to be what?
Recap on the Birmingham game, if you don't mind, mate.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
it should take only 2 minutes.
2 minutes. I don't know if I can spin that out for 2 minutes. To be honest, look, I mean, it was another poor performance, wasn't it? A poor result. I think the performance, we weren't that bad, but we just seemed to be not at the races. We don't have an outlet up front. We don't have a proven striker at the moment. We're in a real mess across the entire squad. Of course, this podcast is a follow-up to our previous one where we discussed the discontented players, the Donto and Sinistera. And obviously, we're still deeply upset about what's going on there. We're going to mention those two a little bit later on in this podcast. But, I think I summarised it in the video that I published this week. And I said that at this rate, although it's early doors, Stu, a loss and a draw is not championship form. It's not top 6 form, and we're going to have to be patient. That if we're not going to get these players in, we're going to have to be patient this season. We're going to have to ride it out and settle for more disappointments than successes. It was a very I think when we did the watch along, Stuart, I think we both agreed that it was a very scrappy game to watch. It was a very difficult game to watch. Very few chances. It was all pretty much midfield stuff. When we did get into final third, the same problems reared their ugly head. We don't have any outlet. We don't have any idea. We don't have any innovation. We don't have anybody who's capable of threading a ball, making a decent pass, and we certainly don't have a proven finisher in there at the moment. So we're looking, in all honesty, we're looking very, very weak. And I honestly think that this West Brom game, it's West Brom, isn't it? Friday night, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't be at all surprised. I think I'm going to have to say this, folks. It's a little bit downbeat, but I think we're going to have to prepare for a loss on that game. That's my opinion of it. That we're in such a predicament, and the upset that's going through the squad isn't helping at all. And we're going to talk a little bit about the press conference a little bit later. We've got a few points that we've picked up on there, and of course we hope to be aided by chat. But I think we're in a bit of we're in a real mess, Stu. The alarm bells are firmly ringing. Everybody knows what we need, but it's just getting the right personnel. And I think the other problem is the right personnel at the right price, terms and conditions. And again, I'd like to say that I don't want to see another repeat performance of that Birmingham game, but I can certainly see that we're going to be facing a better side with West Brom, I think. And I personally have this one down for a loss. When I do a pre-match, if I get time to do a pre-match for it, that'll certainly be my prediction. I haven't decided about the score as yet, but yeah, I think Leeds are we're in some tremendous trouble at the moment, and I don't see things getting any better before Friday's game, especially given the other results that went. That happened on that day. West Brom, they beat Swansea 3-2. So they've got a couple of finishers there. They've got Ajayi Rushworth. That was an own goal, and then they got a penalty from Swift. So that might not all be doom and gloom. They got Swansea scored an own goal, and they got a penalty, did West Brom. So you never know. It could be another really tight affair, but I think probably West Brom are going to just have the edge, just given the weakness that we've got across our squad at the minute, the lack of personnel, the lack of quality. And I think that's it for really for the Birmingham recap. There's not, like you said, there's not much to say. We got done over in the final minutes from what I said at the time. It was probably a dubious penalty. I wasn't 100% convinced. The replay seemed to show that the player went down looking for it, and Djukovic scored it in the injury time. So disappointed, Stu. What can I say? Just very, very disappointed, and I don't know how we can improve things just immediately before Friday. I think it needs some fresh faces in the side. And that kind of leads us on to point number 2 in a moment or two. Stu, what did you think about that Birmingham match?
Pretty much same as you. I thought it were an evenly balanced contest. I think 0-0 wouldn't have. I think both teams wouldn't have felt like they deserved any more than a point. I felt a bit sorry for Dan James, if I'm honest, and I feel a bit sorry for him because he's still getting slayed somewhat terrible about him not being a good footballer and stuff. I thought he was one of our bright sparks, if I'm honest, against Birmingham. It's the problem is, Gary, right? You can make as many runs and balls across the 18-yard box and stuff like that, but if there's nobody in there, you wasted. You're fighting a losing cause, and that's what you were doing. And he was his most productive player of getting up and down the line. He run his socks off, big
Yeah.
danger, and because he gave that penalty away, the natural reaction was, oh, you're this, you're that, you're over, you know what I mean? And it just it was just one of them games. I'm going to go to comments now. I have started some messages, by the way, for this one.
Yeah.
Havinder's in the chat. Hiya, Havinder, mate. Hope you're doing well. Big Mally's in the chat as always. Hiya, Big Mally. Hope you're doing well, mate. Havinder says congratulations to England. That's brilliant. England women got through. They bet Australia 3-1 in the semi-final. They're into the final at World Cup against Spain, I believe. Amani, what a beautiful intro. Thanks, Amani. Love. It's a work in progress, but we will get there. What's your thoughts on the Adams release clause? Well, we're going to discuss that next with squad crisis. That's going to be
squad crisis. Yeah.
Amani says it's a good thing for me, Mali. Either he commits to us or clubs have to pay more. A win-win in my book.
I mean, do you want to put that in squad crisis or any other business, that one, Stu?
Well, I've got squad crisis as point number 2. But if you want to put it into any other business, you're more than welcome to. We'll stick it in any other business if you want.
Yeah. I mean, just finishing up on that Birmingham game. We dominated the possession, didn't we? For large parts of the game, it was 59%, 7 shots, but we only managed 1 shot on target, and I think that was Rousset, wasn't it? That I think we agreed that was counted as a blocked shot, and I remember Hermione was giving us clarification on that because the shot was on target, it was blocked by a defender. It's counted as a shot on target. I mean, they on the other hand had 10 shots, 2 on target, and both of those were the goals. So, it's one of those things, isn't it? It shows that the other teams that we've faced so far in front of goal, they're very, very clinical. They finish the chances. Not only that, they're creating chances as well. They've had 10 shots there. We've only managed 7. I mean, I can't even think of 7 shots on goal, to be honest with you. But I mean, we're going back a few days now, aren't we? So yeah, it's disappointing. Squad crisis.
Honest, Gary, we couldn't remember that one shot on. We couldn't remember that one shot on goal at final whistle.
Yeah,
we couldn't remember which one it was.
I've watched a couple of other Leeds channels this week, Stu, and they pretty much said the same. That thinking over the 90 minutes, I'd literally have to go and rewatch the entire game to find out when that shot actually occurred and who actually did it. So it's frustrating, Stu. It's very frustrating. It's very disappointing, and I don't see anything changing anytime soon at the moment. Given the first 2 starts, going into the start of this season, I thought these last 2 games we had Forest, we had Hearts. We looked really, really decent. But obviously we've sustained those injuries, and it's making a huge difference to the side that we could put out. Just on another note, that I've seen reports that Sonny Perkins couldn't appear for us during that game because he had a cold or flu-like symptoms, is what they described it as. I think I've seen that phrase. So he was ill. Yeah, so I mean, it just shows that. I mean, is that the truth, or is he? Is the club trying to hide this chasm between some of the players at the moment? Because reading between the lines, I'm wondering if there's something between Cine and Nonto, given what's been said in today's press conference. But we'll touch on that a little bit later on. Right, squad crisis, Stu. Where are we at? Do we have any good news?
Expert Paul's joined the chat. Hiya, Paul, and hiya, Inky. Hope you went finally. Good, mate. Right, now, next point is, squad crisis, mate. I'm so, right. I mean, I can put this in a I could put this into like three categories. What I'm going to say, um, which is point number two and point number four. But let's talk about the squad crisis. Let's talk about the squad. What we've got. What actually played against Birmingham and the players. What we've got injured. Forget
Yeah,
about non and Sinister for a minute. But
yeah,
the squad crisis has improved slightly. Sam Greenwood's now going to be available. He's back. He's back from his. He's back from his. He's got over his injury, so he's back. And Rutier trained all week, so that's going to help the squad crisis a little bit. But is it enough, Gary? Is it really enough to get us kind of speak sort of thing? I'm not quite sure it is.
yeah. I mean, in the development squads, Rutter's not done too badly. I think he's got picked up a few goals and a couple of assists and stuff like that. I don't have the exact data in front of me at the moment, but data is something that I'm looking at eventually to try and improve, videos and stuff like that. So we've got a bit more in terms of analytics. But we are in a terrible, terrible mess with this crisis. I mean, we took Shackleton off on the 92nd minute and then put Roden on up front as an out and out striker. It just shows how weak we are in terms of what Farke has got to work with at the moment. And I mean, we also had Darlow and Cleeson on the bench. So two goalkeepers in our bench is a sign that we are so thin on the ground at the moment. Any more injuries this Friday and going into next week, we could be in a real mess because we just don't have any depth unless we're going to start giving a call to these development squad players that we've not really seen much of. I mean, we're talking about guys like Bate. I'd still like to see more of Giabi. To be honest with you, I thought Giabi would have been ideal in that game against Birmingham. Someone who's a bit more physical, who can has plenty of strength, especially against a big side like they were. A lot of big, strong guys in there, and I don't know if Poveda was really the right call, putting him in behind Geldart like Farke did. But I'm not the manager, Stu, and I just think that some things are questionable. Farke, he spends all week with them, and he makes the best judgment call based on what he has available to work with, and you never know how these players are training.
Well, that's what he said, didn't he? Daniel Farke touched on that. He says, I'd rather have a small bench with players who have been training all week rather than just adding bodies.
I think we definitely need people who are willing to fight for the club. On top of that, we've got another exit to report, and that's I think it's Hjelde, is it? Is that confirmed that Hjelde's gone?
No, not quite. I think there's been a bit of a problem with the contracts. I mean, let me just double check. But apparently there's been some issues with certain people's contracts. That's what Daniel Farke touched on a huge press conference.
Yeah,
but it's starting to get easier. Let's have a look. Yeah. I'll have a look at that, Gary. While we're talking, mate.
Well, I'll try and pick something up on it as well. But chat as well if you know something about that. By all means, you can stick that in and we can discuss it. But according to this, he's still Leeds United player as far as I know. But he previously played for Ross County on loan from Celtic as well. I mean, that's going back a little bit. And I mean, he's coming for a bit of criticism as well, especially during that first match. But I think we forget that he's still he's only 19-year-old, Stu.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's only a kid, and he's not got that the match experience that we need at this level. Um, he went out on loan last year, didn't he? But I'm not so sure about his appearances and stuff like that. But you know, we're just so weak, and we've been left in a really really weak position because obviously we've outed sent out on loan all these other players from last season. Um, we've not brought people in immediately to replace them, and this is why I said, you know, I'm surprised we're even allowing players like Jack Harrison to go on loan to Everton while we're in this predicament that, you know, we have uncertainty over Sinistera, we have uncertainty over Nonto. Um, I mean, if push comes to shove and Nonto somehow manages to wriggle his way out at Elland Road, and Sinistera goes, where are we? Where are we then? You know, we're just so weak. But in the transfer market, in my opinion, and as a club, we've been a badly run club. Not just this year, not just, you know, for probably over 30 years. When it comes into transfer market, you see how some of these players have gotten the money that they've gone for. You know, it's unbelievable. How badly we've been run and how badly we've let players go on the cheap and stuff like that. And I think we're going to be guilty of that again if we let Cine go back to Feyenoord. And of course Nonto. But you see, the thing is Cine's under a contract as well. So I mean, what makes Cine different from Nonto?
I think Cine had it in his contract that he's
Might have had a release clause, but
yeah, whereas
Nonto don't.
Gonzo hasn't.
Nonto
Well,
doesn't.
this is the latest on Leo Lielda. Top flight exit not close for the 19-year-old Leeds United man, despite reports on Thursday in Yorkshire Evening Post. Leeds United defender Leo Lielda has been strongly linked to Syria side Salamanca in this summer, with reports claiming that he could complete a move on Thursday. Preparations are well underway for Daniel Farke's third league game in charge of Leeds as the Whites take on West Brom. With his side needing numbers in the door, he very quickly in the market. According to this, he has not, you know, it's not close like
Yeah.
it was first reported.
I think that's the thing, isn't it, Stu? This is why I tend to shy away from making content where there's gossip swirling around that, you know, 9 times out of 10, whatever it is going to just be nothing other than pure speculation made up by some internet organisation that has no sort of credibility. And you know, somehow these stories keep getting traction. Everybody gets really upbeat and confident, and then suddenly, you know, a little bit of news like like you've just said there, it completely blows the whole story out of the water. That there's no truth to it. It's just fluff going around online, isn't it? What about you, Stu, and this squad crisis? Any other thoughts on that?
Well, look, you know that right. We've discussed this squad crisis, and right, I know where I stand on this. I already know where I stand, right? But because we're in such desperate measures, right? Would you include Cine and Nonto into the squad?
Um, for this match on Friday.
Well, yeah, because of the squad. I mean, ordinarily, I'd say no on your bike. See you later. I don't want players here who don't want to play for Leeds, and I'm still at that. I'm still at that stage. But because we're in such a difficult situation, just say Cine, for instance, makes himself available. Says, "Look, boss, I've made a mistake. I want to play on Friday." Would you include him in the squad? That's the biggest. That's the $100 million question, because
Yeah.
Do you cut off your nose to spite your face and keep him out at squad?
Mm.
Or do you think needs must and play him, but then Sinning then knows that he's, there's been no punishment towards him, if that makes any sense.
Cine isn't really the one that's caused the major upset this week for me. It's Nonto, and I think the thing with Nonto is, and I published a video on my channel the way back for Wilfred this week, and more or less said that the only way that he can really resolve this situation, because the 49ers are not going to agree to sell him, is he's got to come out. If they've smoothed things over, and apparently he's been training in isolation today, and that might be they both have, but it sounds like it might have even been individual issue that Cine and Nonto haven't trained together. That it sounds to me like they might have trained completely separate from each other.
Isolated them both,
so it just makes me wonder: is there some tension between those two players that they can't be training together, or is it just a case of the club saying you're both in isolation because we want you to keep away from each other, keep away from the squad? But these guys have all got mobile phones. If they want to send messages to each other, or they want to meet up with each other outside club hours or outside contract hours, that's exactly what they're going to do. But I mean, when that game was taking place against Birmingham, apparently he's been out on the sauce as Nonto. He's been out for a few drinks round Harrogate. Apparently now it's not a shopping trip. He's been out for something to eat, and a few, more than one or two jars, I think is the best way to put it. I mean, I can't say that there's any truth in that, but there are photographs of him speaking with an Everton fan or two. I mean, I don't know of any Everton fans in Harrogate, but I mean, there obviously are one or two out there. But the thing is he's not happy at Leeds. Let's just assume it is worst case scenario. He's not happy at Leeds. He's not happy with the way things have gone on over the last year, let's say, and that's unsettled the player. The player's upset about it. The club need to be reassuring him that we're going to try and bring stability back. We're pretty much putting a first team place on the plate for you. It's up to you. The Italian Mancini's gone now, so the incoming manager might have different ideas. You're still going to have to prove yourself to the incoming Italian coach, whoever that may be. I mean, at this stage, I don't know. I haven't seen any news that they've got a replacement organised there, and that all sounds to me like Mancini's left without any sort of real planning or any sort of real follow up. But where Nonto's concerned, his only way is to come out to the, he should have been out. If it had been me, I'd have just said, look, I've made a terrible mistake. I'm acting under he's acting under the guidance of the agent, and we spoke a bit about the agent off air, didn't we, Stu? So I'll just make that point about the agent again. I'm very, very sorry, and now I want to commit. Unless anybody comes in with a significant offer, or you just say, look, you didn't even have to say that. Just say, look, I'm now committing my future to Leeds United. But you see, we go back to April. Jack Harrison was saying the same thing. You know what I mean? And that's that. We only got that over the line because the 49ers stopped him signing for Leicester. So there's people and fans are complaining that there is no loyalty in football, and most of the time there probably isn't. It's going to be rare that you find these kinds of players now that are loyal to a club, and those kinds of players will have come through the youth ranks, will have come through the development squads, and they'll have played in the first team for a number of years. But Nonto, Nonto doesn't have to be loyal to Leeds United. That's the worst thing. To him, it's a career, and we spoke a little bit about loyalty as well. in the past and said that, if someone comes to you, even if you're under contract or not, and says we're going to double your money if you can start tomorrow, the window of opportunity is closing. Do you want to do it or not? It's then going to be difficult to say no, isn't it? I mean, but my point is this, that these players might actually, because they have got an agent and they are working on an agency basis, by the look of it, that they are actually agents. Are they actually agency workers? That the contract is, they have a contract with the agent. Is it going to cost them personally a lot of money to get rid of that agent, to replace that agent? And is Leeds United going to be happy about, or did Leeds United have an approved list of agents to say, look, Wilfred, these people work totally independent of us, but these are the ones. There's 3 of them. You can would like you to sign with any one of them. We'll buy you out of your agent deal with your current agent, and these are your new agents, and that's it. But you see, what is the actual agent function in football? Is it advice? And if it is advice, are they insured? Are they giving? Because legally, if the agent has advised him, oh, just don't play Wilfred, it's okay. What's the ammunition for the club to say, hang on a minute, you've misadvised your client, and we've got that client under our contract, and now we're going to pursue legal action against you for advice. Any other profession where you're giving advice, you have to have it's a duty of care to the client, right? And if you're not caring for the client, you're putting yourself at risk. And this is what I mean. The agents just don't seem to have any form of punishment or any kind of duty of care to the footballers. They don't care about the club, and they're completely ruining, in my opinion, the sport. But Wilfred's way now, he's got 2 options. He either swallows his pride, comes out with Farke and does a press conference and apologises to the fans, apologises to the club, says he's committing his future to Leeds United, and we all move on. And hopefully we can get him back in the squad. Same with Cine. Or the club just says, right, well, we're going to ruin you. We're literally going to ruin you, because you've said now that you're not going to play for the club. That means you're not even going to get a chance in the under 23s, under 21s, which I think he wouldn't be happy about playing in those squads anyway. And you can literally forget any hope of having a call up at international level, because you're under contract with us. And if you want, there's some washing up to do up at Thorpe Arch, go do washing up, or you could go clean Patrick Bamford's boots. And really, really ruin his career. And the club is, no one's bigger than the club. No players bigger than a club. And I mean, we've seen it this week about Harry Kane going to Munich and what he feels about it. That it's a really, really hard decision, but he's had to take it. He's literally had to take it. There's no other option. Tottenham have pretty much said to him, look, Harry, you're free to leave. Wish you all the best. You've done everything that you could do for us over the years. And perhaps the move is at the right time, the right age for you. And that's amicable. Both parties agree to it. But you see, the 49ers are playing hardball with Wilfred Gnonto, and it will be Wilfred Gnonto. If he doesn't swallow his pride, it will be Wilfred Gnonto that comes off worst on this one. I'd be quite happy as a fan if he came out and say, look, I've made a terrible mistake, but I'd also want to see some action against his agent. That Wilfred Gnonto has relieved his agent of his duties, or they've parted company. One of these softly statements that it wasn't working out. He's got a new agent, and it's someone who's a decent agent, who's got a track record of looking after players, and not abusing the players and not abusing clubs. Because it's abuse. It's manipulating a young player, maybe even against his own wishes. And if that's the case, that's a serious charge. Is that the agents are literally abusing the players, and it's wrong. It's wrong at all levels. Go on, off you go.
Right. I agree with everything you said. Right. Number one, FIFA need to step in and act to sort out this agents badly advising their clients. That's what they are. The clients.
Mm.
They're a person who makes them loads and loads of money. That's all agents are there for. But number two, right? No football club likes dealing with agents. Overall, they don't. But Leeds United will have dealt with. You see, not so much the 49ers, but Leeds United would have dealt with loads of agents over years, and they'll know some decent agents and some not so decent agents. Like this, Willie Notto agent now. Any player who's under that agent, Leeds United won't even attempt to sign because they won't want to deal with that agent ever again. So couldn't it be a case of him coming out and saying that to Leeds, then Leeds saying, "Look, we know some good agents. We'll get you in contact with them." At least that way, then he's been seen to, like you says, get rid of your agent and all this lot. But maybe Leeds United know some decent agents who will look out for his best interests rather than their bank accounts.
Yeah, there's no doubt that they'll have a number of agents that they have contact with, that they've done business with over the years. That this is the kind of agent we want you to be signing up with, and look, we'll pay you the release clause on this occasion, just to get rid of that agent, because you are legally being misadvised. It's a contract of employment. That's what you've got. And he's misadvising you. And he's a 19-year-old lad. He doesn't know how the law works in our country or in his home country. And I suspect it's very, very similar because it's the European Union. But, you get this impression that the agents are literally just abusing the players because these guys are young guys. They don't know anything. They're just how's he got this agent? Has the agent just gone in for him and that's it? We're going to put you up on a pedestal and you'll be all right under us. Promise him everything. And he's on £1 million a year. Don't forget, he's 19-year-old. Nonto.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's by nowhere near the highest player in our league. Well, probably one of the higher paid players in our league, I think, at that age bracket. But overall, he's nowhere near the highest paid player. And if he's got ambitions to be the highest paid player, Britain is the wrong place for him. Saudi Arabia is the place. If that's all you care about, the money, Saudi Arabia's get on the gravy train with Gerrard and Henderson and anybody else who's gone out there. And you instead of earning £1 million a year, you'll earn it in a week.
Which is why I'm so surprised with Nonto, because, like you said, he don't get paid an awful lot considering how important he is. How well looked up to he was before this, not playing for club sort of thing. And that's why I'm a bit surprised that Nonto's gone down this road. I really am. I don't, if he were that bothered, he would have asked for it. If it were solely on him, he would have asked for a pay rise and everything. I'm not playing. I want more money, but he hasn't even come out and said that. He hasn't even come out and said, "Oh."
Well, look, I've got some insider information about is it the Gordon transfer to Everton? And he's been advised. from Everton to Newcastle. So he has actually had that advice from the agent that, or from Newcastle. Just all you have to do, just refuse to play. Make up any story that you're mentally fatigued. It's mental health. Play any card you like. Just tell them that you're not prepared to play, and what that'll do then is it'll trigger Everton into offloading you as quickly as possible while they can get some money for you out of a transfer fee, because your contract's nearly up. You can walk out the door for nothing, and they'll get note for you at the end of the contract. So, but with Wilfred, it's different, because he's only signed he's signed a 5-year deal. When was it? 4 years, a year ago,
Last
less
year.
than 12 months ago. Yeah,
Yeah.
less than 12 months ago. So he's still got over 4.5 years to run on his deal. We could make his life very, very miserable for him if we so choose. I don't want to see that happen, and especially when the guy's got as much to offer as he has. I want to see him with a Leeds shirt on, committing himself to Leeds United, and if he shows up on Friday, gets us 3 points, gets a goal, all will be forgotten. Hey Robbo, you alright? That's Peacock Whites of L.U.F.C. Yeah, me and you need to have a chat. We'll do a live stream at some point. Yeah. So Stu, City, and Nonto, would you have them in if all is forgiven?
They've got to not for this week, no, because I think not for this not for West Brom. It all depends on what sort of attitude they had. If their apology was sincere, there's all sorts to consider. But as it stands this time, just my attitude is just let them go, because while we're paying for their wages when they're training independently, and they are helping squad. That's my problem. It would just, it's a catch-22. I mean, because we're so desperate, I've thought about it. I even actually thought about it. Normally I won't even give them 2-second thought. To me, they'd be gone now. But because we're that desperate, I'd have to think about it. Right, just catch up with some of these comments, because there's an awful lot.
Just before you do, surely everyone deserves a second chance. I mean, Byram's got one, hasn't he?
Oh yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, of
so
course they do,
I mean, is it a case of needs must? And I couldn't care less if we get him inside, and he commits he commits to us for this season. And he says, I'm going to give 100% this season, and I'm really, really sorry. I've made a terrible mistake. There's a punishment for the agent. Gets a new agent. Gets down on it. But you see, the thing is as well, Stu, the other point that nobody's spoken about yet that I've seen is what the actual psychological upset is amongst the rest of the squad over the way that they've behaved.
Yeah.
Because there are going to be players in there who are now thinking, oh, well, hang on a minute, he's doubling his salary by forcing a move. I'll do the same thing next week. While this transfer, still 3 weeks left, someone's going to come in for me. And this kind of thing, could it spread like a wildfire? Could it encourage other players that we've got in our depleted squad to start going renegade?
This is where you've got to give kudos to Daniel Farke for acting by making them train independently and as individually as well. Not just took them away from the group; it's took them away from each other.
Yeah.
So Daniel Farke's got to take some credit for that. So I'm just going to quickly go through these comments, Gary. Right. This comment here, Amani, I'm going to bring this one back in when we talk about Daniel Farke at press conference. So I haven't forgot my love, but that one will be brought in. Perkins was ill, was due to play in the under-21s. He was named in their team, but had to pull out. So that's confirmation that he was genuinely poorly. Rutter, Greenwood, and Perkins are all in contention, so that helps with the squad crisis. congratulations to the Lionesses on reaching the World Cup final, putting the men's game to shame. Yeah, it was a good result, Michael. Right, Big Mally, we have been run so badly. We only made approximately 40 million on Rafinha and the same on Phillips.
Mm.
Hermione says nowadays schools suspend and expel the unruly immediately. It then goes. It then gives those willing to put in the hard work and learn a better prospects. Morale is visibly improved. Confidence improves immensely. Same model.
Yeah.
That's your expertise with being a teacher, Gary.
Well, mine is. I think she's alluding to the fact that the thing to do with Nonto is because things are toxic, allegedly, and I mean I don't believe they are. I don't believe things are toxic just yet. To the point of Farke and Nonto are not speaking, or Nonto's not speaking to any of his teammates, but especially when we consider that goal celebration with Somerville, that had Nonto fallen out so badly with the rest of the team, he wouldn't have been over there hanging off Somerville's shoulders. So I think what she's trying to say is that he's misbehaved. We should get rid of him and get what we can for him. But you see, the thing is what we think is worth isn't what the market's willing to stump up, and it's the market that dictates the value of a player. Now, Everton are saying that they can get him for 50. They're putting up allegedly 15 million. I think he's probably worth what twice, 2.5 times that, somewhere in the region of 30 to 40 million. I think I said in my video that I wouldn't let him go for any less than 40 million. If the Italians believe that he is going to be one of the greatest ever Italian players that's ever lived, someone would be coming in. One of the titans of Italian football would be coming in for him and making no bones about signing him at that kind of money. But you see, there's a racism aspect in Italian football, isn't it? I think we've seen Balotelli suffer from all that kind of abuse. Does he want that kind of thing? Is he prepared to put up with it? It's ingrained in Italian football. It's not a very pleasant place for players of colour to play. And I think he's done really well. I mean, he's had a pay rise out of us anyway, as Nonto, a significant pay rise compared to his first contract with us. And the contract renegotiation is huge. So, I mean, I think there is a greed aspect to it, Stu. There's money aspect, but everybody's out to get what they can these days. I don't begrudge him for wanting to get paid more, but is it him who wants to get paid more, or is it the agent who wants him to get paid more? And I suspect it's the latter, and that's why I believe that Wilfred Nonto, if he is remorseful and he's not happy with the agent, you fire the agent. Yep. Other players have done it in the past. If something's happened and the player that reflects on what the agent's told them to do and thinks, hang on a minute, I've done that, but now actually, in hindsight, that was a silly thing to do. I'll fire the agent.
Yeah.
Fire the agent. You come out on whatever it is. You sort it out with the club first. Look, with the manager. This is what I plan to do. Do you agree? I want to apologise to the fans, apologise to you unreservedly, and commit the next 12 months 100% to Leeds United. Can I get a shout in? Can I get a shot at the starting 11 on Friday? Farke's going to say, "Yep, I think I'll agree with that." He does that. He gets on with it. Job's done, and then we just look at it and say it's an employment dispute. and that's it. It's over and done with. And then if he goes on and smashes 25 goals for us this season, thank you very much, Wilfred. And now the asking price has just gone up. It's gone through the roof. It's the best way forward. It really is. I mean, sorry's always the hardest word, isn't it, Stuart?
It is. Apologising and admitting that you've made a mistake.
Apologising, yeah.
Is the hardest thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Charles,
we've all done it though.
Charles, August is always going to be damage limitation. We must give. We must have players lined up. Farke seems cool. We need to stay cool, I think. I hope you're right, Charles, and welcome to chat. Michael, the good thing for Leeds is that Tottenham has entered the race alongside Everton for Nonso. That should be a bidding process for him. So should increase his transfer fee, which will benefit Leeds.
But there's no race at the moment. There's no race for him, though, Michael. There's no race for him because he ain't for sale. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sounds controversial, but we ain't selling him at the way things stand. He's got no release clause. He ain't going nowhere. And that YouTube short that I made, I said he's going nowhere. This season he's going nowhere. He's with us, and that's it. He might as well just pull his socks up, get on with it, stay quiet, and apologise, do all the stuff that we just talked about, but just knuckle down, give your best for us this season, and leave Ellen Road a hero if that's what you want to do. But by then you might have changed your mind if we get back to the Premier League, because I think Everton get relegated. What have you got to look forward to?
Not a lot.
But Tottenham with Kane leaving, that's got to be a really good prospect for him. But is he? Let's be clear. Wilfred Gnonto is not Harry Kane.
No, he might think he is, but he's not.
He might think he is. He's not. He's not got the same attributes to his game as Harry Kane. So
I got the same attitude either. But it sounded
nah.
Charlie says, "How can one agency represent the buying club, selling club, and the player? Surely that's blatant corruption."
I'm not so sure I understand this, Stu.
Well, what he's saying is, how can an agent will go to the buying club, then he'll go to the selling club, and then back to the player. So he acts as Willie Gnonto's agent at Everton, who's going to buy him. Acts at Leeds United, who's going to be selling him. So how can he? What he's saying is, how can surely that's blatant corruption if you do what if you do.
But it's not blatant corruption though, because the agent is trying to get the best deal for the player. So the negotiations are with not just one club; it can be with multiple clubs, and then he puts forward the recommendation to the player and says, "Look, we've got Arsenal, Newcastle, Man City, Tottenham. Tottenham have put most money on the table for you. They're all offering exactly the same terms, and I'm recommending to you, Wilfred, that or whoever that you sign for Tottenham Hotspur." So the agent isn't representing any club. The agent isn't representing the interests of any club. The agent is representing the interests of the player.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that clears up the confusion or not, but I'm assuming, Charles, that's what you're talking about, right? So yeah, go ahead, Stu.
Amani says it was a deliberate act to stir up the hornet's nest, making it impossible for him to stay. However, we need to stick to the £25 million and stay strong. Agent and Everton should face consequences.
I think we touched on that last time, that it's not just the agent who's responsible. Everton, by somehow, whether there's been a leak there or something, but it's alleged, and I'll say it's alleged because we don't know if it's factual or not, but it's alleged that Everton have agreed personal terms with the agent, and if that's the case, after being told no, there's no approach because he's not for sale, and we've said that to Everton. It's another charge on a very long list of charges that they're going to have to face going forward into their hearing in October, I believe, but I can't say any more than that. Ideal scenario for me is Everton buy Nonto for 30 million, then get relegated. Well, we'd all be laughing if that happened, wouldn't we? We'd all be laughing if that happened. I can't see it. I just can't see it. I just can't see it. If Spurs are really, if this league, I mean, we don't even know where this source is that says Spurs are interested. But if that's the case, Nonto he's not going to choose Everton. Surely not.
No,
But
I
there
would
we
have
go.
thought so.
Not now. Not now. They've got Jack Harrison. No, just don't see it.
Teacup White says, "Hi guys, hope you're well."
Yeah.
Mallet, a fairy tale ending to it all. I agree 100%. Nonto agent needs to be changed. Charged. Sorry,
Charged. Yeah, charged with. Yeah.
We've got some top people at the club. Rudy Klein Thomas isn't the kind of lad to get moved off by agents. A good point, Big Mally.
Yeah.
You said
I'll
about
do
this,
this
didn't you, the Bosman?
Yeah. Yes, Charlie, the Bosman affair was always going to end in situations like this. Hindsight means nothing, sadly. Money rules supreme. Loyalty disappeared forever. Not sport. It's now a lifestyle choice. Yeah, I think we've seen that over the last week or two. It's depressing if you. It's depressing if you allow it to be. Greed ruins everything in life. Over to you, Shu. You could do these next couple.
Aren't they going to Symphony Everton and Newcastle show interest in him? And like Nonto, he down tools well under contract in order to get a move. Eventually, he went for 45 million. Happy days, brother. I think that's to you.
Yeah.
I could never celebrate a Nonto goal again personally. Exactly like Gary. If someone steals your bit of money, it doesn't mean that you'd go and do the same to everyone else in return. Anthony Gordon.
Yeah.
Did Byron tap down tools? I don't.
If I remember rightly, there was something along the lines of, and I mean, I'd have, because we're going back a lot of years here, aren't we? That he left, and it was a controversial moment of him leaving, and he'd said one or two things that a lot of Leeds fans weren't happy about. And it would be interesting to dig back through the records, but I don't think that was an amicable departure for Byram, if I'm right. But you see, when you're young, you're stupid.
No, when you're young, you expect people in and around you, like your agent, to guide you,
to be protecting you. Yeah. Doing stupid things, saying stupid things as well, and then letting it out in the public. So he did at one point got ill advised. Yeah, I thought, but Gary's comparing. No. Well, I mean, Cine and Byram. I mean, and Nonto. It doesn't matter when the second chance comes, does it? But does everybody deserve it? Does everyone deserve a second chance? If there's an apology and everything's righted, then yeah. I mean, the thing with Sinistera, the thing that's annoying me is that it's only a week or two ago that he was coming out and saying that he's happy to stay, put all his effort in, and try and get Leeds promoted back to the Premier League. He's going to be the Rafinha man of the moment for us. That's what he was making it out to be a couple of weeks ago, that he's going to stop on and he's not bothered about moving anywhere. But I mean, back then there was no interest in him, but now apparently there's a bit of interest. You know, I mean, we get Farke's not, you know, he's not divulged too much about what's gone on in the background. Only what we need to know.
Yeah.
But you see, the thing is this, like with anything, there's more to this than we know about. Still, at this point.
Yeah. We won't know the full story. I don't think we ever will.
Nah, never will. No. It's unless somebody leaks it, you know. But there you go. It's true. Maybe in time. However, I adored Yeboah when he threw our shirt on the floor. It taints his memory for me. Yeah. The same for Hernandez and Smith. I don't hate them. It's just hurtful. Yeah. I mean, Smithy got a Man United. It was Man United, wasn't it? Straight after us, I think. Yeah. Fergie went and go. It's Taylor, Charlie Taylor. Yeah. Okay. Same thing. People. Yeah. Go on.
Byron made a statement when he left us. That's it being heartbreaking to do, but his childhood and life ambition was to play at Upton Park. They were his team. I respect that.
Yeah.
Right. He'd have said the same if it was at the Etihad. Yeah, but Byron was a West Ham fan. He was a West Ham fan. We're back to Byron.
Yeah.
A YouTuber reminded me yesterday about a young lad at Liverpool who went down his path because of his agent. He went out on loan to Fiorentina, and his promising career was ruined.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
interesting to say that.
Can you imagine? He goes to Everton and they go down, and we go up. He's back to the same boat. Yeah, I agree, Peacock. I do.
Yeah.
But he gets paid by all three parties. The agent's representatives. The agent represents the player, not the club.
Player, not the club.
Spot on, Big Mally. Not true, Big Mally. Listen to Sam and Jordan on this. Gary, even though there is no release clause for Nonto, do you really want an unhappy player at Leeds who wants away? Who may poison that? Well, yeah, but that's just it though. If he wants away and if he's not willing to apologise, I'm not saying, I'd say get rid of him, don't give him a second chance. You know.
It's a tough one. I don't see. Like I said, he's got two choices, hasn't he? Either he becomes a stubborn little mule, and if that's the case, Leeds then shelve him. We're just going to ruin your career and bugger you. That's option number one. Option number two, from a Leeds point of view, is if the right money comes in for him, just offload him, offload the problems, and he can take his drama somewhere else. I mean, that would be the preferred option for me. But the 49ers have said that he's not for sale, and that's the end of that. But the only way then really is that, like I said, he comes out, he apologises, fires his agent, says he's been misguided. It was a very big mistake, and that he's been misrepresented by the agent, and things aren't as the fans seem. And he's very sorry, and he's going to commit to Leeds United 100% going forward. 12-month time, like I say, if he's got 25 goals, or near the end of the season, 25 goals, he's had a storming season. Then you're going to start seeing heated competition for Wilfred Gnonto's signature, and if that's the case, then we're back in the driving seat. We can get rid of him for a lot better asking price, and that's it. Or we're in the position then we can say, well, actually, you've still got 2 years left on your contract, Wilfred, and it's perhaps time that we start negotiating your salary and your benefits and all this other stuff, and put him in one of the the higher earning categories, assuming that the club have that. But I mean, there are clubs up and down the country at the moment. They sit there talking about pay structures, transfer fee structures, and all of that. And they're constantly going out of the window. I mean, look at Liverpool trying to get Casado, bidding 100 and trying to match Chelsea's bid for him, and he's gone to Chelsea anyway. The power, it shows that the power's in the players' hands, the agents' hands. The clubs are just, a cash cow for them, and that's it. That's all they care about. That's literally it. It's the game. The game is wild. It's wild, but that's because of the agents. It's and the lack of regulation, and oversight of these agents is actually quite alarming. I think that these agents can come from anywhere in the world and represent whoever they want, and start trying to hold a gun to the head of the clubs over the players' services. But anyway, we move on.
Yeah, well, we'll go on to the next subject in a minute. But one thing I want to finish on. I don't deprive anybody playing in Premier League. It's how they go about it where I've got the issue. So look, we've talked about this for a while, and he finishes up by saying respectful debate, and a difference of opinion is good for us all. Well done, everyone. See, so that's what we're all about here. I know what you mean, Ian, about using that word, but I would just kick them out. It's simple, and it won't happen again. Well, that's what Daniel Farke said. Right. So next subject. Speaking about Daniel Farke, it is about Daniel Farke. Gary. And well, do you think he's handled this well?
His hands forced, isn't it? I think the 49ers are more or less guiding him on what they want him to say in front of the cameras. That this is what we want you to say. Don't tell them too much. We don't want too much spilling out about what's going on behind closed doors. You keep it to a very minimal, very brief answer. You don't need to go too much into what's actually gone on, and just give them the positive stuff. That's all they need to hear. That's it. That's all they need to hear, and that's it. So the thing is let's assume that Nonto and Sinisterra have trained, or they are training in isolation at this moment in time. That for me is still a good thing. The fitness thing is vitally important, especially if we're going to try and offload them. We're looking at the Tyler Adams situation. We spoke about that earlier on, and there's no wonder Chelsea have kind of backed away from that he's not fit. It's going to be a lengthy layoff still for Tyler Adams, and I think that Farke overall has done really well. But Stu, when he took the job, I think we speculated that he's got his work cut out with this. It's not going to be an easy appointment for him. With all of this politics going on in the background, the takeover happening at the same time, everybody's going crazy over the bank charge on the stadium and all this other stuff. But while everybody's looking one way and we're being told stuff, the club could be doing something very, very secretively and very quietly. And it turns out now that we've got this secret striker. I mean, I've never heard anything as crazy, but this has got to be a result of the failure to get Aaron's on board. I think, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think the thing is Stu, you watched the press conference. I unfortunately didn't. But I think you mentioned that he's only spoken about Friday's game or mentioned West Brom's name once in the entire 20-minute press conference. He spent most of the time literally talking about players and player contracts. I mean, is there any truth in that, Stu? Is that the case?
We talked briefly about it, didn't it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know, mate, because I haven't seen. I've only seen
Yeah,
like three and a half minutes of it.
Just reiterated what he's been saying. You know, you don't want to discuss. You don't want to go into detail any player contracts, anything what's going on. All he really confirmed in a press conference is that Nonto and Sinistera are training separate individually, and that the squad he's got. He got asked about, how does he how it's squad bearing up, and he's saying, the squad are in a good mood, and he's giving all them players who are in that squad. He gives them all his attention, and but I mean, I were a bit disappointed with press conference because it was supposed to be Leeds v West Brom press conference, and I heard the word West Brom used once.
Right. Yeah.
That were it. So it were all it were journalists trying to find out as much information as they could about these contracts, negotiations and stuff. And apparently, as August goes on, the contracts get easier. So there must be some truth in when they said that they'll have like an expiry date on these, release clauses in the contracts with some players. But I think, look, overall, I think Daniel Farke is doing a brilliant job with his hands tied behind his back.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I commented that I think he's got my every sympathy with, because all of this stuff is energy sapping. It's distracting. It must be hindering him and the preparation for the players. And I'm just going to talk about some of the comments that happened or that were left during that press conference. It says, "What a nightmare for a new manager to have to deal with. Leeds are in a complete meltdown." That's one. MOT, lest we forget. Gives you hope because of positivity. And then there's one here. I mean, apparently Helder's been mentioned during that conference. It says, "So, Helder has concussion and he's missing. Nothing to do with his transfer out then."
Yeah.
So, I mean, who knows, are the club trying to bury that one or not? They're making this easy for him, aren't they? They blah, blah, blah. Can't say that word because it's sounding like there's always a number of fans criticising the journalists over the questioning and the types of questions that they're answering and making it really easy for the manager, and that kind of thing has been going on for quite some time. But you see, like anything else, it's very difficult for us also to hear the journalists with the microphones. Apparently, the audio again wasn't very good for the journalists in the press conference. A couple of score predictions. It says that was useless. He told us nothing, keeping Leeds fans in the dark. Jesse Marsh spoke less waffle than him, and that's not easy. Seriously unimpressed by that, says Steve the Searcher. So a bit of a mixed bag of comments there that are left, but I mean, you go through the chat and they're all going mental about it. They're literally just somebody's saying Yanks out. Sign me some players. That's GTC. There's a few other people there, and they're literally just going mental. I think the thing is, Stu, we've said this before, that bringing a player in it's much harder than you think with the different parties that are involved. And then, of course, you have to try and make sure that it's the 49ers are trying their best to make sure it's kept under wraps, and as few people need to know as possible. until the deal's done and it's over line. It can be announced. Otherwise, we end up with an Aaron's situation, and we don't want that, because there's no doubt in my mind, if you have two teams, or two clubs, should I say, one of them's Premier League, one of them's Championship, they're offering identical terms. Which one would you rather play for? Well, the choice is 90% of the time you're going to choose the Premier League club. That's going to be a better move for your career. And in terms of progress, about moving to bigger clubs and stuff like that, it's a better stepping stone for a lot of players. But us being in the Championship, it might not be that bad a thing. We're probably likely to avoid bad news players, I would think. Let's just see how this Aarons gets on at Bournemouth. I'll certainly be keeping a close eye on it. Is he doing the business at the moment? Doesn't set. Apparently, he was selected, I think, for the opening weekend for Bournemouth, and he didn't have a great game. So, we might have dodged a bullet there. I don't know. But you see, championship people say, "Well, it's a lower standard. He'll do better there." Blah blah blah. It's a difficult one to call, isn't it? Difficult. But overall, am I pleased with Farke? Yeah, Stu, the guy's been in the job 5 minutes, in managerial terms. He's coming to a club in total disarray, and I think week by week, if he brings us some stability, starts getting the faces in that we need, he knows what he needs, he knows what he wants, and the guy's won 2 championships. His record at this level is phenomenal compared to everybody else, and I think he was the best choice at the time. I still think that, and I don't see any other option for Leeds United. I think we're just going to have to bite the bullet and hope that Farke sorts it all out. And I think it's like he's just literally got an endless list of things to do every week. Like, tick, sorted that out. Tick, sorted that out. And it just keeps coming.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. Right. Just want to right. Byron refused to sign a new contract under Chilino and went to the club he supported as a kid. Nothing wrong with that. Need to clarify that. Taylor refused to play, but Leeds fans still love him crazy. Right. Yeah. So that was something we needed to clear up, which is absolutely fine, Amani.
Yeah.
At this stage of the game, I don't give a damn about West Bromwich Albion. Well, I get that, Malik, but I were hoping to hear a bit more about, a bit more about the game, with it being a Leeds v West Brom press conference. Do you see where I'm coming from? Because what got said by Daniel Farke has been said before. And it feels like we're just repeating ourselves over and over again. I'm sure Daniel Farke would have loved to have talked about the Leeds v West Brom game rather than, Sinisterra and Nonto, for instance. The season begins in September. We are just being kind and giving them a head start. Leeds United are nice like that.
I hope you're right, Hermione. I think just going on that point there that you made, talking about things like tactics, a little bit perhaps about what he's expecting from West Brom. Maybe 1 or 2 mentions about the previous the previous games, etc. That just showing that he's done a little bit of research about what he's seen from him this season. That kind of thing. Yeah. Just a little bit more. I mean, it sounds to me like it's literally all about the squad release clauses, player contracts, and all this kind of things. And he is kind of right. I mean, they've all got a contract, but you see, because they're in the public eye, people think that the contracts are in the public eye, and they're not. the players still have a right to privacy, a right to the how much they're actually getting paid, the contracts. You'll see some players coming and going, and the transfer fees are not disclosed, the wages and stuff are not disclosed, so people have to then estimate what they're getting paid and stuff like that. The terms and conditions. I mean, if you're going around and you see an envelope and it says Wilfred Nonto's contract, and inside that envelope there's Wilfred Nonto's contract, are you going to open it and have a sneak peek? Or are you going to think, actually, Wilfred Nonto's got a right to privacy, and, I'm sure Wilfred Nonto doesn't want to know what I get paid every week. So I'll give him that same respect. It's not like being in the USA where people openly talk about money. That kind of thing doesn't really. We're in Britain, of course, we're a bit more reserved in the workplace, I think, especially when we talk about contracts and stuff like that. So, do you open the envelope and look at Nonto's contract, or do you just leave it and whoever needs that envelope, they can pick that up, and it's their right to pick that envelope up?
Right, right. Right. Let me start by saying this first. I wouldn't appreciate if someone opened up a letter of mine what accidentally got dropped by Mr. Postman with my bank statement in it. So
Yeah.
what I'd like to think I'd do is pick up the envelope. No, don't leave it for the next person to read. And hand it, put.
Make sure it found its way to the right person.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. But you're always going to be tempted because it's the play. It's the play. It's the. Everyone wants to know about what's in the Willie Nonto's country. You know what I mean? But no, yeah. I'd like to think I'd hand it in, Gary, to the right person, for it to find its way to the right appropriate man. I genuinely would. But yeah, that's probably people say you're mad then, because you can find something out about a player, and but you chose not to do it.
I work in a very difficult environment, Stuart, as you know, where and I've spoken about this offline with Stu in case you don't know, so I'll just tell you a little bit about it. I work in a place where quite literally all of my work colleagues think that I get paid a lot higher salary than they do, right? I can't tell you whether that's truthful or not, because I've not seen the contracts. I've never asked to see the contracts. They do a different job to the job that I do. And it's a similar case with footballers, that, you're getting paid what you're getting paid. And that is that kind of information. Is it the kind of information that we should be transparent about and everybody else should know? And no. It isn't. They do a different job. Defenders get paid a salary, the midfielder gets paid a salary, the forward gets paid a salary. Now, one assumes that the centre forward gets paid a higher salary because he's the one who bangs in the goals.
Yeah.
And he's on different bonus levels and all this other stuff. And, facing that kind of... It can literally be hatred, like literally they hate you. I know that they hate me because they think that I'm on a lot higher salary than they are. I can't tell you whether that's true or not. And I said to them, even some of the locals, Gary, you must be the highest. You're this, you're that. You must be. I say, I'm not the one who has a house and I don't have a car. I said, so where this, dreamland lifestyle is that you're talking about, I certainly am not living that. I said, so you want to, and I'll tell them, I'll say, you really shouldn't sit there worried about how much money I get earned, and don't lose any sleep over it, because you're the one with the house, you're the one with the car, and you're the one with the wife and 4 kids. I said, and if you're managing all of that, then well done. Don't
Yeah.
you don't need you. Your energies are better spent on yourself, not sat there worrying about how much I'm getting paid. I said, and the other thing
Yeah.
as well is, it's got absolutely fuck all to do with you what
Yes.
I get paid. I said, now if you don't like it, my advice to you is you can take that advice, or you could go upstairs to HR, ask to
Yeah.
see a copy of my contract, find out how much I get paid, and then tell them you want to get paid as much as I get paid.
I don't
I
think
said,
it's
don't.
hard to tell them that, though, do you?
I said, don't. I said, don't you dare come to me with that. Well, no, I said, you might not like what I'm telling you. I said, but the thing is you need telling.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? That
Mm.
kind of thing is going to be happening at Leeds United. I mean, I have seen a YouTube short going around that says that Sam Byram's was one of the league's lowest players on about £1,400 a month, or something
Right.
like that. Sorry, Sam Greenwood. Sam Greenwood. I beg your pardon. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. So money has, money causes all sorts of conversations and context, doesn't it? Wherever you work, whatever you do. I mean, it's interesting to talk about personal experience and how that might relate to the kind of thing that's going on in the footballing world. Yeah, crazy. But overall, yeah. Next point, Stu. Are we 49ers?
Well, just we've got some comments here. The club should put up to deal with the and answer the questions on all financial stuff. It's cowardly not to have a press conference and leave all this down to Farke.
But the thing is, Charles, like we've just said, it's a private enterprise. It's a consortium. It's a private enterprise. It's not. It's not a limited It's not a public limited company
Mm.
where they have to share financial information by law. It's a private private enterprise where they're not required to do that. So
No.
really, from a fan point of view, it's got the financials of Leeds United. Okay, we'll get a copy of the annual accounts once every 12 months or whatever, and those might be filed with Companies House, and those might actually be available. But unless you're an investor in Leeds United, you're not going to find out. You're not going to find out anything. Like these sports personalities that pumping money into the club, they're then going to be entitled to that. What I would classify as sensitive information, and as far as they're concerned, it's got nothing to do with the fans.
Well, Daniel Farke, he got asked about the financial situation at Leeds by the press, and his answer was, "I'm just here for the sport. It's not for me to speak publicly about our financial situation. There are rules we have to stick to. It's not clear on outgoings. We know we have to improve the squad, and we're working hard behind the scenes. We'll have more clarity on incomings as exits become more clear. We're confident we'll have a competitive group in September." So he did get asked about the financial situation at Leeds, and he says, "I'm not here to talk about it. I'm here to talk about the sport."
Yeah, yeah. He's not qualified to speak about it, Stu. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's not. He's not on the board of directors. His job isn't in the accounting side of it. There's a whole team of people who are sat there running the financials for Leeds United, and Farke isn't one of them. I mean, I can't even believe that one of the journalists has bothered to even ask him a question about a business-related matter that
I think what it
he
was,
has. It's unlikely he has any involvement in. It's weird.
I think it was mainly, have we got the money to buy players?
Yeah.
I think that was what it was mainly about. But again, like you says, it's not. He ain't gonna be able to answer that, and even if he wanted
He ain't gonna tell him the size of our war chest, whether he knows
No.
or not. He doesn't have to
Yeah, I
do that.
agree.
It's and I agree that he's protecting the 49ers, which in turn is protecting the club. That the other clubs don't know how. You see, if they find out that we've got a massive amount of money for transfers, what's going to happen?
Clubs that we're going to want to buy players from, I'll add on £10 million or £15 million to additional value.
Yeah, player inflation will just go. It'll just go crazy, and we're not going to be able to pick them up. But then, obviously, we've got the FFP to think about, financial fair play rules and stuff like that, and making the club sustainable. Now, I mean, all of those signings we brought in last year under Marsh, that was a significant amount of money, and my suspicion is that a lot of that money didn't come from Red Rosani. You would expect that the 49ers were putting their percentage in to fund those acquisitions. That, example, they own 45% of Leeds United. So let's say this plays 10 million. You're going to have to fund it for 4.5. All right, but Farke's got no business talking about that kind of thing, and I take my hat off for him to keep that information private. So yeah, good for him. Finances, yeah, oh, it should be, yeah, absolutely, Hermione. Yeah, I totally agree. Leeds United go to win the Championship, EFL Cup, and FA Cup. Oh my God, Richard. I hope you're right, Richard. That's a dream.
Says it every week. I understand that. However, it should be them batting away the question, not the football team manager.
Yeah, sorry, Stu. You could just go through those comments. I'm just going to. I've just got a little issue to attend to. It'll be a second.
No worries, mate. You get shut off, mate. Where in the rubbish financial? Put the whiskey down, Adam. Yeah. I know which. I just wanted Gary and Stu's views. No, we haven't got money to buy our players. And as far as I said in previous streams, press conferences are a waste of time and money. Simple. It is an excellent business model. Sadly, those who know zero about it shout a lot. You strip back to basics and rebuild on a solid and structured foundations. Sustainability is key. And then imagine if the contractors were on a yearly basis like the olden days. You like talking about the olden days a lot, don't you, Ian, my friend? You do. Right, we're ready to go on to the next subject.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm on an annual contract, so that's how my life works. It's year to year, 7 successive years. They keep, but then again, I'm not going to blow my own trumpet. Let's just get on with it, Stuart. Point of order.
The 49ers, right? First things first. Right, we the problem is, right, and we knew this, though, didn't we, Gary? They do everything behind closed doors, and it's driving the fans crazy. It's driving the journalists crazy because they're so used to getting tidbits leaked out to them, and at the moment, the 49ers aren't coming out with anything.
No.
We agreed, didn't we? We said that this is the best way to run a business is by not discussing anything in public.
Yeah.
But should the 49ers be a bit more... Should the
transparent?
Should be a bit more transparent with the fans? Or do you think they're doing the right thing by keeping it in background?
I think, like anything in business, Stu, if I had a business and people want to know how much money I'm making, I'd say that I can tell you that, no problem. How much are you investing? But you see, season ticket holders think that they're investing in the club. They're not. They're not investing into the club. All they're doing is buying a season ticket every season for the entertainment value. That's not an investment in the club. It's a different thing. that's not that money going to the season ticket money. Pretty much keeps the lights on at Elland Road. That's about it. All the other costs and expenditure about player transfers, security, ground maintenance, all the other stuff that goes into it. That you're not talking about a couple of £1 million.
No.
And I think a while back I saw some kind of statistic that said Tottenham Hotspur to bring in £5 million every game, home game. Leeds is barely £1 million.
Yeah.
So what's actually funding the club is things like sponsorships, and these investments from the other investors, and apparently we might have 11, possibly 12 of them. We don't even know that. But Stu, it's none of our business. I don't mind as long as they get on and make us a successful football club.
Yeah.
Because if we're a successful football team, successful football club, the business side of it is going to be successful as well on the back of that. The TV rights money. You're talking tens of millions of pounds that the club will be getting, and where does that money go? Does it go in their back pocket? Well, no, it doesn't.
No.
It has to be reinvested into players. We're then talking about a ground refurbishment expansion. The 49ers have a lot of other plans about club infrastructure in Leeds as well. So, things might not be happening instantly. And I said this before, I call it Instagram society syndrome, where people expect it now or yesterday and they're not prepared to wait. You just have to be prepared to wait and see what they've got lined up. But the other side of the coin is these people who are investing, they're going to expect a dividend payments or returns on their investments, or possibly both, further down the line. That kind of return of investment is heavily dependent on getting us promoted to the Premier League. So the 49ers have no choice. The club's best interest has to be at heart. That we back Farke when he needs backing, and we get the signatures on the books that we need. In the Championship, it's going to be neither here nor there in terms of money compared with what goes on in the Premier League. And I mean, we've seen it already. Harry Kane, another £100 million plus player leaving England, going to Germany. Of course, we talked about Bellingham in the last match. I think Bellingham, did he start his career, or one of his first clubs was Birmingham, was it?
Birmingham. Yep.
Yeah. So, now he's sitting pretty at Real Madrid. These are the good things that can happen if you just toe the line. Do what you get paid to do. Keep your mouth shut. Even if you're not happy, you get out there, you put a shift in for 90 minutes, do what you can, impress, improve, and perform.
Yeah.
That's it. That's what we're asking. I can't be arsed because so-and-so's got an interest in me. Ain't going to get you very far in your career.
No, it's not.
Hint, hint.
It's not, is it?
If you want to end up in the elite, what we call the elite teams, the elite clubs, those are the things that need to be done from a player's point of view, should I say?
Right.
I will say that.
The fans are more important than the owners. No, they don't. They're not doing the ownership good to keep it quiet behind closed doors. Well,
I've lost the audio here, Stu.
am I back?
Yeah, it's come back a bit. I think it's just lagged out a little bit there. Sorry.
Yeah, I
chat.
think it's me
yeah,
internet
chat.
connection.
That's it, chat. If you have any problems with audio, do let us know or anything like that. We do try our best to to
Yeah, I think it's me. I'm gonna have to
maintain a
get.
high quality
Well, at the moment,
stream.
I'm using my Wi-Fi until I get the wire put on Amazon. I'm gonna put it back into wired again. But
Yeah,
right,
go on.
the problem is, Adam, right? The problem is with what you're saying there about it's not good to keep it quiet behind closed doors. If they tell everybody everything, we've you know we've left ourselves open. You know, we've left ourselves open, and it's not the way it's not the way you win a battle by leaving yourself open, is it?
Yeah, you.
Excuse me,
Uh,
hang on. We
go
are,
on.
excuse, hold on a minute. This is a you, Adam. This is Adam who joins our chat. Excuse me, we are paying their season tickets. That's their wages on players.
It's not even close. I'm afraid, Adam. Look, you wouldn't go into a casino, into a game of poker, and show everybody your hand before the game starts, would you? It's the same thing.
We never had a million. We never had a million in a million. We never had a million in a million years. Hi, Elise, 2023. Hope you're
Aye.
doing well. The 49ers are going to make us dry. I agree for the record. By the way, congratulations for the Liners reaching the final of the Women's World Cup. That's brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant news.
I'm good, thank you, Leeds 2023. Right. Adam, you need to calm down with this not trusting the Americans in Leeds United is our club. We love it and we don't want them to ruin it like Ken Bates or Radzali. Another waste of space spelling.
Yeah, let's go with that.
They didn't like it when Bates told them everything. Now they don't like it. They don't like the sounds. Yeah, they didn't like it when Radzali were telling everyone everything neither. You're right, Big
Yeah,
Mally. But,
yeah.
we are very lucky to have the 49ers with all the debts left and the clauses in contracts still bought us and have viable plans for our future. I love them. See, I think it's that magic word, patience. It really is about patience. Right, I'm going to go on to the next subject, Gary.
Yes, go ahead, Stu. Yeah.
Right, are you surprised by that there's been no replacement players being brought in as yet? Knowing that the squad bare thing.
Well, I think a couple of things have happened, haven't there? I think there's a lot of nonsense swirling around online with just nothing more than a rumor. That's number one. But I think other clubs are having to put up with that, Stu. I mean, I've noticed a bit of a pattern with a lot of different clubs, and there's like a YouTube channel that uses like an automated voice, and it's literally the moment you look at it, it's the same script for a lot of different clubs, and they're just talking about different players, and it'll be headlined something like "Urgent news: fans didn't expect this," and it's one of these AI generated voices, and it's a channel wherever it's located, literally just pumping out the same narrative, the same script for different clubs. And I'm sat there, I'm thinking, this channel, it's not just one channel, it's every single club has one of these channels. And I'm sat there, I'm thinking, where is this information coming from? It's a faceless channel, so there's no human face, and it's just a load of still pictures. About any specific or particular player, and it's just waffle. I'm like, as soon as I see one of those channels, it's like remove from the homepage and don't recommend this kind of channel to me again. but there are actors out there, not just on YouTube, on across all social media, and if they don't know something, they'll literally just make it up. And we've seen it on a lot of different occasions. I think with Leeds at the moment that players are being talked about who Farke's probably never even considered signing. The replacement strategy has to be targeted. That he knows who he wants. He's probably already got a first choice list of people that he wants. We've seen it with Aaron's. Now that one slipped us. Right? He's been what's the word I'm looking for? He's been persuaded or seduced by Bournemouth, and he's gone to Bournemouth. So we've lost out on that, and that was a clear one where Leeds, it had been documented that he's actually at Elland Road, he's doing the medical, it must be happening, kind of thing. So there's evidence. He's been spotted, photographed, or whatever it is. Then we have we've got is it Darlow, the keeper? So we've got him in. Then we've got the other young lad in. Is it Rob?
Ampadu.
Ampadu. So how many is that? So we've got so far signings coming in. We've got Ampadu, Darlow. Is it Rob? Byram. Robin, is it? What's it? How do you pronounce that name? Sorry? Rodon. And then is that it? Is that four? And then Aaron's is the one that's escaped. So four confirmed signings. It takes time to sign players. That's the first thing. It can take up to 2 weeks. We know that. We've seen that already. And I think it's just a case of, I'm not going to blame the 49ers. They're not responsible. Yeah, they're responsible for the paying side of it, but they're not responsible. For doing the scouting, for doing the background checks, the research, the analytical side of it, because all of that stuff gets done before Farke then presumably gets a recommendation. Farke then is going to agree that or disagree that, whoever's scouting, look, this is the type of player you want. This is the MO that you've given me. This is the one that I think is going to be useful to us. Then, of course, there has to be a financial process. Can we get that kind of money prepared? Do we have it easily available? Or if not, let's start opening negotiations with the club. That takes time. Then you're in a negotiating table. That takes time. Then you've got to they've got to then speak to the player. Look, we've had an offer in for you. XYZ, we're prepared to sell, and you've just got to sort your personal terms out. That's how it normally is handled. Player then acts. I mean, the selling club's acting through their agent anyway. Then all of that decision making goes back through the chain of command. Great, we've got a player who wants to sign for Leeds United. Let's get him on. Let's get the contracts drawn. That whole process is a lengthy process. At least 2 weeks. So, don't expect that they're going to be floods of players coming in out of nowhere. We've been going, at least 2 weeks in the season. We've had another 2.5, another 3 or 4 weeks in pre-season. Not much has really happened. We've got 4 players in. We've got rid of a load of players. So we've got capacity in the squad now to. By the way, all that process has gone on in just trying to get rid of the ones that we've got rid of. Yeah. So I think we just still have to be patient and hope that what's been going on in the last month starts coming to fruition over the next week or two. That these deals haven't they're not just instant. Oh yeah, it's this, that, this. You want to do it or not? There's a lot more to that process than just a couple of phone calls. So I think watch this space. We have no choice. We have to remain confident. We've all got to back Farke on Friday. Back whoever it is that's pulling the Leeds shirt on Friday, and hope that we go out and get ourselves a result, and that we can still at least keep pace with the top half of the table, and try and keep ourselves in touch. Because these games are going to start coming thick and fast, and there's no doubt in my mind that these replacements have to be coming in as a matter of urgency. But don't go out signing any old Tom, Dick, or Harry. Just because, just filling the squad with people for the sake of squad numbers, because you're going to be wasting your time. We've got, it's a serious business. Is this? We want to try and get back to the Premier League. We've had a lot of mismanagement in the past, and I think part of that mismanagement is still going to be dogging us for a little bit of time just yet. Players in that squad who shouldn't really be at Ellen Road, and let's hope that Farke. I mean, he's sounding out all the right notes. The chairman's sounding out all the right notes. I'm very happy. I think we just have to be. And let's hope that these replacements start coming in through the door next 10 days. What date are we on today? Is it 17th? 16th today, 17th tomorrow. Day off for me tomorrow. Public holiday.
Independence Day.
Indonesian Independence Day. So there you go, chaps. And ladies and gentlemen, there we go. So yeah, let's just hope that we start seeing some action. Stu, are you surprised by this, or is it?
Not. I would have liked. Look, personally, I would have liked us to have. Like Big Malice is here. I'm surprised knowing that we had £12 million to splash and errands. I think I would have liked to have seen us prioritise a striker, but the problem is with that when a player becomes available, who might be third on your list, you have to get him because it's the only time he becomes available. As far as I'm aware, Gary, right? I think the squad's is thin. It's thin, but I have to hope that the 49ers are doing things behind the scenes. And I know for a fact, buying a player is not like buying a tin of beans from your local supermarket. You just don't go in and pick it up and scan it and then pay and then walk out with it, do you? So I know for a fact it takes a bit of time to solve. And again, I don't want us to panic buy players who aren't what Daniel Farke wanted.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who has to work with them every day. He's the one who has to select them or deselect them, put them in team or put them on bench. And, the one thing I will say about the press conference today, Daniel Farke looked a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more chilled out. So, and he says that we will have a competitive squad. So not only is it coming, us saying that, we're hoping that everything's sorted out. Daniel Farke believes that we're going to have a competitive squad come end of transfer window. But he also did say, didn't he, that, it's going to be a bit rough at the start with players going out. He did say all this. So I'm not surprised, no. And let's be honest. The amount of players we've lost and the amount of players we need to bring in, it could take 2 or 3 transfer windows. It could take 2 or 3 transfer windows because it is virtually rebuilding a new squad for Daniel Farke. And I'm not surprised that we have no replacements have been brought in this yet. But I am a bit. I would have liked to being surprised and would like are two different things. I'd like us to bring in loads of players, but realistically, I'm not surprised that no replacements have been brought in as yet.
Yeah, yeah. He's been very targeted by the type of player that he wants. He's been very targeted and methodical about the personnel, and as you rightly say, I'm very pleased with the job he's doing. We've let one escape, one slip through the net. That Aaron's.
But that wasn't down to the 49ers or down to
that
Leeds United
that's
or down to
I mean, but you see, that's agent power again for you. Is that it sounds to me like Aaron's is ready to sign on the dotted line, and the agent said, "Hang on, we can get you an extra 15 grand a week down at Bournemouth or whatever it is. Get back in the car, leave Ellen Road immediately, get in the car and get yourself down to Bournemouth." You know,
yeah,
that kind of behaviour again is. But is there any regulation against that kind of thing? And I suspect there probably isn't. There's not going to be anything.
He didn't sign a contract, did he?
He hasn't signed a contract. There's nothing stopping the player from getting the best deal that he can get. And it's sad that we've lost out on that. But it is what it is, and we have to just grin and say, well, we move on and not let it get to us, and we carry on going to it.
Just quickly catch up with some of these comments, and then we'll be on to a final subject, which is any other business. The truth is, the 49ers Investment Group are the 11th most powerful sporting business on earth, according to Forbes. We are going to be fine. They just need to clear up the mess left behind. Patience. I think this is Adam going on about the Americans and not like American owners and stuff. And it's like him out and he says here, do you not trust the English too? Look at our financial history throughout the years with them kicked out of the league and consistent relegations. It's true. We had English owners who were just as bad, so I hope we don't this, and we've got to stop this. Having a go at categorizing them all Americans being bad, because not all Americans are bad. There's good and bad in every country.
I think Adam Link, I don't know, he's not active in the chat at the moment. I haven't seen anything for a few minutes, but I don't really care where people come from if they operate the club in a shrewd manner, and I think we're we're getting there now that it's going to be run really well. It's going to be a tightly run ship, and when money needs to come in for players, it's going to be available, and that's it. But there's going to be checks and balances at all levels, and Farke, his head is on the chopping block as well. He's a man under pressure. Let's make no mistake. He's got expectations. I assume the 49ers have set realistic expectations. They're not going to say to him, first season you win the league and you get us back to the Premier League, because that just doesn't happen. They'll know that just doesn't happen. Given our experience over the last 20 years, a lot of it we've spent away from the Premier League. So, patience, it's that word again. And unfortunately, the Instagram society syndrome kicks in. Everybody wants it now or yesterday. They're not prepared to wait. Build something great, but take your time. I think that's the thing.
Rome wasn't built in a day. That's what my mum kept telling me when I was growing up.
Yeah, she's right.
All on Rad for me. Reluctantly obvious to see that Orta was made his fall guy. From being angry with Victor, I now feel sorry for him. Raj knew exactly what he was doing. And Big Mallory, it takes as long as it takes for us to buy. It takes as long for us to buy a player as it does Gary to explain it. Thanks, Mally. Leeds still have Bamford, Fairport to come back. Whatever the supporters think of them, they are still useful members of the squad. I agree. If the rumours are to be believed, we could have had 2 players in by now with the Aaron's money. Yeah, but that's just stating it, Malik. Rumours.
We could have had 2 players in the time it's taken me to explain it, couldn't we, Stu?
Yeah, man. I like it. I like it. We should have kidnapped Pablo after Cardiff and begged him to score after 16 seconds against West Brom, just like the last time.
I know, Pablo. God.
How many more? How many more are going to slip through the net? Yeah, but that isn't the fault of anyone at Leeds United. That's not anyone. That ain't the fault of anyone at Leeds United. That news come out. That player slipped through net because Norwich leaked that they've sold Aaron's to us. It wasn't the 49ers who leaked that information out. And I think that's why it's all secretive about this. If it's true about this striker, we've bid for an unnamed striker because they don't want it to happen again. So I think they're learning from the mistakes.
Yeah.
As well.
It's only recorded in fact that we've only let 1 slip. And it's nothing to do with Leeds. That it's just, Bournemouth have seen an opportunity. And who's the manager down at Bournemouth?
We wanted Areola. Yeah, the one who Leeds wanted to get.
And we wanted him, and he was strongly tipped for the job. So, he's maybe thinking, everybody talks about loyalty and all this sort of stuff. He doesn't care. Nobody cares. We live in a nobody cares society in sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, football, and that's how it is. It's a dog eat dog world, like it or not, and that's how it is. So there we go. Oh, Inky! Oh God!
I had a terrible dream. I dreamt that Leeds won the championship. Then all of a sudden, Orta and Rods were back. They had only been out on a season-long loan. My sheets are now on the boil, bleach wash. I like that. Almost flapping and waiting, wailing like babies, wanting everything yesterday. Really haven't a clue. You rebuild slowly and carefully. If you rush everything, you risk total collapse. I agree with that, Amani.
Yeah, we're not far from it.
Before he gets sacked, I don't think Farke will get sacked. I don't think he's got any intentions of walking just yet. Neither. I think he's determined to get this right with Leeds United, and that's all you can ask from your manager.
I think just stopping on that point there. I mean, how many managers have not walked in the past? And when we're talking about walking away from a contract, they don't want, and they'll never walk from contracts, because if they do, they won't get the compensation. If they get sacked, then they'll get the compensation.
Yeah, but I don't think it'll come at that. I really
don't. I don't either. I mean, I think it took. He said in the beginning, didn't he? It took quite a lot of convincing.
Yeah.
To get the job, for him to take the job, and he took it. So I mean, they're obviously, they've done well to get him signed. I think it's a very good appointment still for us. Time's going to tell. We're 2 games in. We've had 4 of our key players out injured first 2 games. So we've also got a drama to deal with just so happens 2 of our best wingers. So it's not an ideal start. So it's worse than we expected to start with. But it does mean that things can only get better. Things can only get better, Stu. I'm convinced we will be all right. We're not going to be.
Yeah.
We're not relegation fodder. We're not relegation fodder this season. Go ahead, Stu. Do you want me to read a few?
I think Gary, as well. People who thought we were instantly going to get promoted. We're not living in a dream world. That's wrong. We're desperate for this to get promoted. I think that's why they kept saying it, because they were desperate. But we clearly are not in a position to get promoted. You know what I mean? We clearly are in a position at this moment in time to get promoted anyway.
No, definitely not at the moment. Not at the moment. It's a reality. It's a hard. It's we've said it before, haven't we, you and I? But it's a hard landing. It's a hard reality check that that we're not as good as we think we are. We're not as big as we think we are, and we're now in a terrible mess. That hopefully this is the bottom of the slope for us, and we'll start turning a corner, start getting results, getting points on the board, and hopefully we can start moving.
Of course, it's the fault of L.U.F.C. They should have acted faster. But how do we know they didn't act fast? We don't know, do we?
The chairman said more or less that it took them longer than they anticipated. It was all held up, getting the clearances from the EFL and all this other stuff. It's a complex matter, you know. In his podcast interview, he said that, you know, things have taken longer than we would have liked. I mean, that stuff took weeks to sort out by the sound of it, and it actually, if you speculate, it probably could have taken a lot longer than that. And I think we spoke about that before, Stu, that, you know, nobody saw Radrazani over Christmas. The whole thing was slowly falling apart as the weeks ticked by. With all of these managers going in and out, Radrazani, did he care? Did he take his eye off the ball? All of that stuff remains to be seen. It's not one person's fault, and I think that's the thing. We can say that everybody in the previous administration of Leeds United has been at fault at one level or another.
It was agreed the night before. He was on his way to sign for us. He turned around and drove down to Bournemouth. Nobody knew until it got leaked to Pink, and who then released it out. Blame lies at Norwich City Football Club.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah, no problem. Hello, Adam. Yes.
Yeah, they didn't act fast because we didn't get him. Stop making excuses. They actually paid $5 million less to Mali.
Yeah.
Typical. Right, go on. God, Charles, I'll give you a bit of advice, mate. If a word's got more than if a word's got more than 4 letters in it, I struggle. Mechanical Elysium.
Machiavellism.
That's it.
Leonism.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, all around. Yeah, go on.
Leeds have not always been loyal to their players. Click was concerned by the lack of playing time, and he was worried about his World Cup place. Marsh said he would get game time, but it backfired.
I mean, Clichy is coming out on Twitter every now and then commenting on Leeds United stuff. It's a verified account. I mean, if push comes to shove, Stu, would you have him back?
Oh, Clicky, of course I would, tomorrow.
Yeah, clear, yeah.
I thought you could have said, would I have him on the podcast with us? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll send him a message.
And as soon as I say that, look at the next chat message.
Would you take Click back? Yeah, definitely. Because he didn't want to go, did he? He was forced.
He didn't want to go. He was booted out. I wasn't happy about his departure, to be honest with you, and it was at that. But you see, Marsh had this. It was a predictable rhythm, wasn't it? we wouldn't be doing that great, and then on 60th minute, Klitsch would come on, and you'd just be like, "What is that all about?" But I mean, back then we were getting hammered week in, week out. I mean, I don't know where it all went wrong, isn't it? Where it all went wrong. I'd love to get Klitsch back. It'd be great for us, but. Would he want to come back now? Is he still in America? I think. Probably not. I doubt he'd come back. I doubt he'd come back. Yeah, I doubt
right. I know that word. Isn't he photosynthesis cousin? So I know that word. I'd love to get Click back. And talk to him on chat. You better not be googling Hermione, ha ha ha, and then laughing at her, and then LOL see her. Right. Any other business? Last section, Gary. Have you got any other business you would like to talk about?
Not at this time. I think it's just a case of if one thing that we didn't speak about when we're talking about Nonto was what kind of reception can he look forward to if he does appear for us on Friday, and of course you expect that he's not going to be very well received.
No,
but
he's not. No, this moment in time. He's not,
the thing is, Stu, if he goes on and bangs an hat trick in, all will be forgiven.
It will be though, Gary. Do you think it will be with Leeds fans?
What? All will be forgiven.
If you got an hat trick, because I think the Leeds fans are pretty. They're pretty. Once they've made up their mind, that's it. It's very hard to change it.
Yeah. Right. We'll talk about that just a second. Mally. Yeah. So sorry. Just saying that. I think there's diehards, right, who would literally say that he's a Judas. But I just think about it for a second that is, and all this other stuff that's been levelled at him. He's not signed for anybody else, right? He's not. He's still a Leeds United player. He's been misadvised. He's a young lad. It's somehow got out that this is the case. Well, I mean, it's not somehow got out. The club have more or less said that he's refused to play. Perhaps the club wasn't wise in doing that as quickly as what they did, which is why I was surprised by that statement. It's not the kind of thing we're used to seeing. If there's an internal problem, they'll usually try and sit on it and settle it before it goes out in the public. That statement about Wilfred Nonto was a very big surprise to me. I just thought that they've not handled it very well at all in that regard. But Stu, he's still a Leeds player. He's made a mistake. He's made a terrible mistake, and it's on the back, presumably, of bad advice. He comes on Friday. He has a storming match, has a couple of assists, or gets us a goal, or whatever he puts in that's positive in the game. All is forgiven, and just say, less of that nonsense. Let's have 12-month hard work out here. Get on with it. I've got a bit of an audio problem here, Stu. I don't know if there's something going on. If you're lagging out a little bit again. Yeah, chat, let us know if... I'm not sure what's going on here. Right. For the third time, I'll answer this, Stu, because I can't hear you at the minute. I don't know if you've got a bit of a connection problem. I think Tyler Adams is going. I don't think there's going to be a bidding war, and I don't know how both of us have managed to miss this comment, Big Mally. Is he going to go to Bournemouth? Is it Bournemouth that's the other team that's that's triggered the clause.
Fluctuates
Uh,
£15 release or promo. That's better.
it's coming back a little bit. Yeah, it's a little bit low, the volume.
What
But
on earth's going
there, that's better. That's better.
good?
Yeah. Um, I think we're going to we'll end up stuck with Tyler Adams this season. Certainly until this next transfer window. I don't see any need for anybody. I don't see any need. I don't see any need for any other club to come in and sign him when his injury is as bad as what they say it is. 4 months takes us to December, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So the transfer window opens then. Then he decides. Is he going to stay on or is he going to continue for the remainder of the season? I don't know. I think we're going to be stuck with Tyler Adams. I don't think he's going anywhere.
I agree with you, Gary.
Yeah, I think he's
Done
stuck
better.
there. Yeah, he's doing weird things. I don't know, but anyway.
I can't see Nuncho being welcomed by the fans. The club could have protected him by saying he was injured.
Yeah, I think so.
Cheers, Matt. Cheers, Matt. Get Mally.
Yeah.
1 minute he will sign and play for Chelsea at the weekend. Next day he's injured for 4 months. More probability in a lottery ticket than knowing that answer, Mally.
Hard one. It's a hard one. I think we're stuck with him.
Stu sounds like the Borg. His release clause has expired, Gary.
Yeah.
We have only said it 5 times, Mally.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. I must have. There's so many comments coming in. Do you think that the profit and sustainability in FFP is really about protecting smaller clubs, or is it to help prevent anyone else too close to the getting too close to the mega rich?
Ooh, well, it's the money men running the game, isn't it? And can we have another scenario where Leicester City end up winning the Premier League? Are they going to be too happy about that? It's difficult, isn't it? Corruption's rife in sport. It's never been as rife as what it is now. I think there's probably some mileage in that kind of accusation. To stop these smaller clubs from growing, stop them getting too big, stop them challenging, the big 4 or 5 teams in England. But you see now Newcastle are in. You've got to consider that Newcastle are a massively backside. Yeah, I've got Echo Mali as well. It's only just started with this audio issue with Stu in the last minute. I don't know what's going on there. It might be a dip in, what is it?
My internet connection or something.
Internet connection. Unless it's my computer changing all audio settings in background. I don't know. That kind of thing's happened in the past. I'll just lower the mic down a little bit. But yeah, as far as I know, yeah, we're not. We're good here. No changes. So I don't know, but I think sometimes it like dip. That your bandwidth just dips off for a little bit, and then it comes back, and it's. I don't know. It's not. It's like it's not quite synced up properly. But I think it's probably more of a StreamYard problem than anything else. Especially when you. sounds better now. Yeah. I'm not getting that
Weird,
echo through my ear. Yeah, it's weird,
really, really weird.
really strange, weird.
Um. So right, I think the biggest telling of that state, Charles, will be when Everton to face court proceedings about that breaching FFP. If they only
Mm.
get a point deduction or even a fine, then you know that the Premier League are going to protect the so-called bigger clubs, because the debate I've been seeing is Everton a bigger club than Leeds United?
Yeah.
Do you think is Everton a bigger club than Leeds United, Gary?
Um. Let's measure the official. Let's use the YouTube as a yardstick. How many subs does Everton official channel have on it? I think it's more than us. Where
Yeah,
Leeds
it's
is
a lot
about
more
nearly
than us.
Leeds is nearly 500,000, 400, just over 400,000 last time I checked. But Everton is a huge club. It is a huge club, but the thing is this, Stu, as well. You know, Manchester City have already had a bunch of charges thrown out, but they've got 115 further charges filed against them. And
Yeah,
the Premier League, when asked about it, simply say, "Well, it's out of our hands. It's in the hands of an independent commission to, give us the findings and recommendations about the punishment and all this sort of stuff." Now, whether you believe that or not, I don't know, because certainly nobody's come out and spoken too much about it. Manchester City are just ignoring it. They've got a league that probably the best lawyers that money can buy. Um, and I think, to be honest with you, money and corruption, we all suspect that Man City and probably Everton to some degree are making sure that, things aren't too bad with these punishments. I mean, I don't see any, because these charges are really, really serious things. Teams have been demoted to the bottom tier of their national league for these kinds of offences. That isn't probably going to happen to Manchester City. I don't think.
I will find out for you. Official Everton YouTube channel has 763k subscribers. Leeds
Yeah,
United YouTube channel has 402k subscribers.
yeah, yeah.
So there's not a lot of difference to say that Everton have been in Premier League England and us.
They're a massive outfitter, Everton, across England. So it's an interesting one. It's an interesting one. Yeah, Charles, you're right. That it's all Thai money that's backed that's backed Leicester, and they kind of got lucky, didn't they? They got Ranieri in, they got all these other decent players in, Vardy and all the rest of them, and they all just were on fire at the same time, and the tactics was the same week in, week out. Sit deep, hammer it long, get Vardy on the end of it, and boom, counter attack. That's literally all they did. But wasn't it a great season to watch? That literally nobody could beat Everton that season. Leicester that season. It was a great season to watch, and thinking, I'm actually very pleased that none of the usual teams have won the Premier League, and little old Leicester have come up out of nowhere and smashed, absolutely smashed the Premier League to pieces. 300,000's a lot of subs, isn't it? But on the grander scheme of things, I think Everton probably is a bigger club than Leeds. I
Right,
hate
fair
to
enough.
say it. But I think they probably are. We think that we're a big club, Stu. We're not. In terms of our global reach,
We've
we're
got
not.
a big, we've got a big history, but we
Yeah, we've got
haven't
a
done
big
an
history.
awful lot in modern times.
Yeah, in modern times we've not last 20 years, but our global reach is nowhere near some of these other teams. I mean, the Premier League are publishing marketing materials for the new campaign. Oh, sorry, for last season's campaign. I mean, they've put Fulham on there, Everton, Man United, Man City, Chelsea, Arsenal. These are the big teams. But you see, they're well followed teams in Asia. When we talk about big teams, what is a big team? What is a big club? Is it based on the money they have, the
Fan
amount of
base.
fans they have, fan base? Consistently across. I mean, we could get a good idea if we measured social media reaches and stuff, but even that's not accurate. I think Everton are a bigger club than us, to be honest
So
with
you're
you. But
talking about, players abroad, reading abroad, countries abroad. Look at Young Min Son. Look how much attraction he gets alone in Asia.
massive,
You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's just one player.
yeah, massive. If they put in, well, look at Matoma.
Yeah.
Brighton. He's going to be a well followed. Brighton are suddenly going to become a very popular Premier League club in Japan. Out of nowhere, and it's the same across all of Asia. If they get one of their players in the Premier League, that's massive. It's a massive deal for them because football in this part of the world, they've got national teams, but they've not really won anything. So if they get a player going into the Premier League, that's a big. They're very, very proud of that over here. So yeah, that kind of thing.
Do you have to be in Premier League to be a big club? Because Leeds are in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, I think so. Yeah, Championship gets no coverage out here, Stu, and it's the same in the US. They have to try really hard to learn or to know anything about the Championship. It's not the kind of thing that's delivered in the media, mainstream media, or anything like that. They'll have to specifically research that online. Of course, now we've got the beauty of the internet. It's easier than ever, but in the past, that's never been the case, has it? And more people are getting access to the internet. So there we go. Leicester have one shot to go back to the Premier League. If they fail this season to get to the Premier League, they will be in trouble financially as the ownership took a hit during COVID. They made minimal recruitment. Yeah. Interesting one. Go on.
Big Malik says Leicester was a great story for football, which it was.
Yeah.
And the man says it was all an algorithm, Leicester, that that was brought in to make money on a worldwide sales, etc. marketing fix. When another is needed, Luton will win the Champions League same season. Yeah, I think Leicester could do it. Luton, right? I think Luton will get relegated, but they're going to have a good time doing it in Premier League. You see, it's about don't matter. I mean, Leicester Luton's a little club. It's in the middle of an house in this state. Well, you've got to go through horses to get to it. So
yeah, you're absolutely right.
Right, well, Garrett, have you got anything else you want to finish on before we start wrapping this one up, mate?
No, I think we'll wrap this one up, Stu. I think it's a record-breaking podcast. I think it's. I think we'll keep. we'll keep this to 45 minutes. It'll all be over very quickly because we're talking about the Birmingham game. There's not much to talk about. These are Stu's words at the beginning before we went on air, by the way. That there's not to talk about.
Don't ever go
Birmingham,
wrong.
we'll have that out of the way in 2 minutes, and we'll rattle through the rest of it very, very quickly. 2.5 hours later, folks, and we're finally considering wrapping it up. I think Stu's going to try and spin it out another 30 minutes, though.
No, I go in another hour.
Yeah, you've got. Get your diary out, Stu. Just tell us about what the appointments are for the rest of the day.
7:00. It's looking back at the PL and how we did game week 1. Then 10:00, I'm on with Rufus Skater and Titch to discuss a lot of things about Stam. So busy. Been a busy boy again, mate. Been really busy.
It's very, 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 very busy. It says sense and sensibility again, Gary. Nice one, Stu and Gary. Thank you very much, Hermione. That's very kind of you. It's always nice when you get nice comments, isn't it, Stu?
Well, it is, yeah, of course it is. I'll be very if you can get nice comments. But you don't have to kick off, you don't have to rant, you don't have to swear, you don't have to curse, you don't have to have a show to be good.
No, I think so too. Others do it, so why not? Just keep control.
No, I think that's been a good one, Gary.
Yeah. Right, let's wrap it up then, bud. I'm gonna go hit the hay, as they say, at 11:30, and it's time to hit the hay. So I think I'll say
not quite. Well, I am a granddad, but not quite granddad yet. She gets old in tomorrow, Mally. Good evening, just the Leeds. Hope you're doing well.
Hope you're doing well. We're just wrapping this up, just the Leeds thing. Unfortunately, yes.
No, well,
it's been another good chat, bit of debate and stuff. So yeah, always a good crack.
Yeah, and thank you everyone in the chat for keeping it going, and it's much appreciated. It really is. We do appreciate all those comments. Whether we agree with every comment or disagree with every comment, it's all about people having their own opinions.
Yeah, I totally agree. Anyway, look, let's march on together for Friday. Let's hope that we get a good result.
Prediction, Gary, before you go.
The way things are, I think it's a 2-1 loss.
Well, on the previous stream, what I watched, I said 3-1 West Brom.
Yeah.
So
a lot of Leeds fans are feeling a bit negative about this one. They only escaped with a narrow victory at Swansea, didn't they? But they're always a tough outfit at West Brom. So there's going to be no easy games this season, Stu. No easy games.
You will get your predictions in the comments down below, and I'll have a good read of them later. And I'm going to be able to catch up on all my messages and stuff later on. So, look, Gary, thank you once again for joining us. Much appreciated.
Thank you, Stu.
Thank you, everyone in chat. Yep. So, look, have a lovely evening, guys. Hope you enjoy your evening. Thank you for watching this edition of the All In L.U.F.C podcast. Please check out Gary's channel. If you look at the title, you just click on his name in blue and it takes you straight onto his channel to subscribe. I want to see him get to at least 100 subscribers before the transfer window closes. I know I am all about my subscribers, but I want to see you get another 29 before transfer window closes. So
it's a tall order.
Well, we'll keep going, mate. We will keep going for you.
Guys, we'll keep going. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you very much for watching this edition. There's only nothing left to say. It's a goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me. Have a wonderful evening ahead and take care of yourselves. See you all very soon.
It'd be lovely chatting to you as well, just the Leeds thing. And 2-0 Leeds Stoke fan. Oh, good job I'm talking to man. Take care, everybody. Bye.